What is the difference between English as a second language and sheltered instruction?
Okay, so English as a second language, otherwise known as ESL, is an academic program provided for students who are not proficient in the English language. This course is designed to teach students the English language so that they become competent in their language and that it becomes their second language. Sometimes students may already be proficient in another language, but the title still remains the same. Usually the student who are classified as an ESL student, their native language or any other language other than English. And they are placed into those classrooms so they can be better their English language. However, there has to be consent from parents to be placed into that given program, and it must be offered by the local district if possible. Now, a sheltered instruction is a bit different from English as a second language. This instruction is dependent on the content area of a specific grade level. The content area is the knowledge and skill that is used in the academic programs. The schools use these methods to maintain an organized structure of knowledge and performance, teaching instruction, and to be run by an academic program. This being that it could be incorporated for learning standards under the Common Core standard. It is also used for standardized tests to fulfill graduation requirements. The Common Core standards are protocols that are state expectations to be met by the students. And so sheltered instruction is a given course that enforces the English language in a more comprehensible manner for English language learners, such as ELLs. So the instruction acknowledges the English language development of the student so that it can be supported effectively. And English language learners is a typical label that is used to classify a non-native English speaker who is in the process of becoming proficient in the English language. And so the main difference between an English as a second language program to that of a sheltered instruction is that one is provided for students who are not native to the English language, and the other is classified as an approach to teach English language learners. So that is what is the difference between an English as a second language and a sheltered instruction.
What are the pros and cons of each of the English medium and bilingual education program models that we find in the field today?
Okay, so for bilingual models, some of the pros are that some of the programs are beneficial, like the dual language, because it is a 50-50. So they teach 50% of the class with their native language and the other 50% in the English language. They also have the 90-10, which is 90% in their native language and 10% in the English language. And as they start moving up grade levels, it will be 80-20, 70-30, and so on and so forth till they reach the 50-50. Another pro is that they feel more comfortable with the teacher that pulls them out of the class, since they interact with that teacher more often. And another con would be not all programs work like the transitional bilingual education, which is the most commonly used and is not the most effective. Another con would be that they may feel segregated from their mainstream class since they're always being pulled out. So they might not get along with other students, or they might be picked on because they are being pulled out of the class. Not all schools also use all these programs because they don't have the financial means for these programs. As for English medium, the pros is in the class, ESL is done mainstream. So the students won't be pulled out and they won't miss stuff from their classrooms. Another pro would be the newcomer program, which automatically recognizes the immigrant student and provides education in their native language. So they won't be taught in a different language that they don't know, especially if it's not English. A con would be pulling out the students makes them miss most of the day, if not all a day. So they won't interact with other kids. Another con is the sink or swim. There is no ESL instruction in that in that program. So it's either the child understands or the child fails.
Consider the program models described previously. What factors should a school take into consideration when deciding which program models to offer? Discuss the types of ELO programs offered by a school you're familiar with. Do you feel these programs are appropriate and effective? Why or why not?
Okay, so in the book states 10 models that help the ELLs. The factors are determined by administrators and teachers working collaboratively to study the characteristics and needs of each child. In the school that I'm currently working, they have a dual language program. This includes instruction in English and in Spanish, and they go half a day for English and half a day for Spanish. I do like that program, the dual language one, because you get a taste of both the English and the Spanish, and students get to be proficient in both languages. It also helps parents to work together with the teachers.
What minimally should be included in any program model for ELOs? Why are these components critical? What can result if one or more of these components are left out of a program for ELOs?
All programs for ELL must, in minimum, first learn English and 2, learn academic content. Each program model includes ESL instruction and content-oriented instruction. It may be provided through home language instruction or sheltered instruction, or a combination of 2. Schools should also provide as much PLS as possible, especially in non-bilingual programs. If these are not met, ELLs will be left behind. They will suffer with their grades and are probably not going to pass.
One of the major issues involved in the meeting the unique language and academic needs of ELLs is whether or not they should be taught in separate classrooms or programs. This consideration raises the sensitive issue of segregation. When might separate classrooms or programs be needed? What are some possible solutions to the segregation problem that still address the needs of ELLs?
Okay. If the student is having a really difficult time understanding the material in English, I think it is important for them to be included in programs to help them out. I don't see anything wrong with having the student in a different classroom so they can learn the English language with their native language translation. This would only help them in the long run instead of affecting them where they're not learning the English and the native language, and they're not going to be able to comprehend what is being taught. This will help them in the long run. Like I said, separate classrooms or programs will definitely be needed if the student knows no English whatsoever. They will have teachers who speak the student's native language to guide them through the process. One solution to the segregation problem could be to have the student buddy up with another student or educator so they can guide them and not feel left out. So if the student is buddied up with another student who speaks their same native language, that could be very helpful for them. Another solution could be to have after-school programs that are specifically used to teach the English language, instead of having the student get pulled aside during class time. And in reality, there is no single program that is appropriate for the student. The teachers and administrators are the ones who determine how they will go about it based on the communities around it.